familiar faces. But before we get into that, I guess instead of getting into that, let's talk a little bit about April Annihilation.
Shout out to my boy Left and keep going.
Yeah, we had a lot of familiar faces in top 16, pretty much the whole tournament. Our DMV boys represented pretty well. Get Rex.
Yeah.
Tied for 9th.
Lud,
third place.
our guy right here, of course.
Our guy right here, of course. Yeah, and this is a match we're pretty familiar with, right? Ogyawn versus Ludovic, training partners.
I'll show you.
Yeah, man, really kind of would you call it a battle of attrition? Ogyawn always trying to get into the face of Lud.
That seems to be his MO, and this is, you know, kind of his game for that. So I think we're going to see Lud trying to keep Ogyawn at bay here. Okay.
Lud always one of the more active Chuns, already throwing some of those fireballs, and he took a chance and dashed forward there. He's not trying to just maintain space, being a little bit offensive.
A little bit of active defense. There we go. There's a bull charge. Good stuff. Keep off Mises with the reversal.
Yeah, using some of that meter early. Ooh, challenging the overhead with the crouch jab. Again, waking up with the challenge buttons. Lud pressing so many defensive buttons and now turning it into offense into the corner.
And that can be kind of the strategy, right? Especially against someone like Ogyawn's Laura. Sometimes, excellent. Sometimes you want to just drown the opponent out, and that seems to be Laura's weakness, right? Her defense is not super strong.
He's meeting pressure with pressure and making Yawn uncomfortable. If Yawn gets an inch, he's going to take a mile.
Right, and here we go. That's the first step. Beautiful. What a bait. Okay, side change goes for the frame advantage. I like it.
Adaptation from Yawn already. Backing off from a little bit of the pressure. A lot of respect now being given. But Lud still with the offense, finds a counter setup, and here a true counter hit. Slivers away from the stun, and the crush counter, he woke up with the buttons again.
Back fierce, man. Third strike nightmare.
These
I
guys
expected to see a stomp, instant stomp. Sorry, you were saying?
You were saying. You expected an instant stomp from Chun-Li, but man, these guys are going tit for tat. It wasn't a stomp, but it was a crush counter fierce. It's buttons on top of buttons. Very little bit of waiting. We saw one time Yawn backed off there for the EX SPK, got him a nice punish, but that did not sway Lud.
No, not at all. No, it was pure offense all the way until he was done. It seems that Lud really has a bead on Ogyawn's rhythm. I think that's a symptom of what can happen when you spend too long training with someone. If you have kind of an algorithmic game plan, someone can really get an idea of what your rhythm is like and just put a wrench in the gears, you know?
And who among us can resist the odd algorithm in their game plan? You know, when you start to see a pattern form that takes you to winning, right, it's a double-edged sword. It feels good, but then when somebody can break that pattern, when they can see into it, you've got to adapt on the fly.
Right, and that sort of game plan can kind of breed stagnation, and I think that might be an opportunity of where Ogyawn can grow in the future. When you watch the VOD later, I know you will. It's all right. We support you. I'm just giving you some helpful advice.
Of course, talking directly to our boy, but that's what these weeklies are about. You know, going back at the tape, seeing what kind of stuff that you need to improve on. And sometimes that is just getting out of habit. Sometimes knowing how to change it up a little bit. But I've seen some adaptation, like I mentioned already, from Yawn, and now he's getting things started early with the heavy buttons.
Yeah, for sure. Forward fear is definitely one of Laura's best tools to try and outrange Chun. Her tools to do so are quite, pretty few. Okay, here we go. There's Lud, pouring the offense on again, just trying to drown out Ogyawn.
These guys are using every inch of the screen all over the place in their face. Short buttons, but big, long buttons on the ground. Lots of jumps, everything. And again, adaptation. But Yawn, without the big punish that he had last time, still turning it on. A lot of meter, V-trigger, active.
Yeah, and that was the pressure that Lud's afraid of. Here we go. Spending the V-trigger, spends the meter and closes the round out.
Defense from Lud, making use of that V-trigger to turn things back around, even with a sliver. Beating pressure with pressure, not being swayed by the buttons in his face. I think that's what you got to do against Laura.
I think you're right. All right, big slugging. Here comes Lud with the jump over. No anti. Oh, interrupts the EX sunset wheel.
How about that?
I think I've only ever seen that 3 times in my life. I just usually eat that bad boy.
Chalk that one up to Abare, but Lud, again, meeting pressure with more pressure.
All right, Lud playing a little more passively now. Ogyawn, okay.
Counter hit set up from Lud. This time, Yawn blocks, but here's a crush counter just after a long string. Yawn trying to meet buttons with buttons out of defensive positions, but Lud is jailing him, keeping him held down.
All right, letting him out slowly here, right? The Warden's letting up, and this is kind of what you need to do. You definitely don't want to trip into a bad button in this game.
Look at all of the resources that Yawn has available. Should Lud slip up here? Battling around the barrels. I'm sorry, the boxes, they're not barrels. It's the wrong game, wrong mini game.
Okay. And Ogyawn removing a bar there. And okay, using some of those resources.
Oh, no!
went so big.
Holy smokes. But there's the V reversal. Lud just trying to calm things down a little bit with almost punished by Yawn. Yawn, a lot of patience being shown there. Still very, very impressive.
25 seconds on the clock, and I tell you, man, this game teaches you how to live, right? You can die so... Oh, no, and just as I said that, yeah, put himself airborne, tried to sail right on in, and Lud was ready for it.
Hey, down to 21 seconds, though. He spent a lot of time back down in the corner with just about that 15, 20 seconds, 15 or 20%. I liked that from Yawn, despite the fact that he took that risk at the end with the jump there, but sometimes, you're going to take the risk. But he held that down.
Absolutely. I think he made the absolute right decision, and that's a mistake that you see so many players make in this game. With 50 seconds, 50 or 60 seconds on the clock, they'll try to dash in. They'll try to really force a big comeback right away. But Yawn used the timer there, and that's what you have to do. He used the stage. He used the timer. Remain stalwart. That's what I like to see. I'm really impressed.
He was a couple good decisions away from the round, right? He got him with the toe tap on the stand light kick, but then just wasn't able to get anything after that with the meter activation, but it was all right there for him. He was able to follow up.
Yeah, exciting stuff. I talked about this last week, but I remember Twitter was kind of a flutter, if you will, talking about whether or not chip kills are good, or whether their implementation is good or not.
Okay.
And in this game, I actually think that this game is at its absolute best in those chip out situations.
Oh man, don't let me take you to Ski Sonic's design corner and explain why the implementation in this game is quite good. Very good, in fact.
Okay.
I back it. I agree with you on that. We should maybe record something about that. But right now, we're recording these VODs, this action, and Yawn is battling back.
Oh, what a read. Good Lord.
Wow, and he needed a lot of damage to try to turn this thing around, and you get so much damage off of that neutral jump. Crouch lights into the EX, activates the V trigger, corner pressure, instant stomps. What's the setup here? Yawn sees through it. He wasn't plus.
Uh-oh, big stomps. Good stuff, stuffing the anti-air. Beautiful.
Saw through the smoke and mirrors. About an even round here. Yawn activates trigger. There it is, the EX Commando.
All right. Oh, another one. Beautiful, beautiful. Look at that. Lud read the book of Yawn with that big the neutral jump heavy kick, and then Yawn reading it right back.
They are both at the library, filing through chapters very quickly. And Yawn saw through that one setup, smoke and mirrors, woke up with jab and turned it all the way back around. Reversal from Lud, working his way out of the corner.
Look at this. You saw the first couple matches were so colorful, right? And now it seems to be a lot more methodical. They're trying to, I think, stagger their buttons a lot more, trying to vary their timing a bit, make the opponent second guess when they're going to come in and what they're going to do. Yeah,
we talked about how many times these guys have played each other week in and week out, but every week is a new week. You always got to feel your opponent out. And the first time we've seen this one this week, I think the stand, heavy punch, confirm, classic stuff from Lud.
I can't believe it didn't kill. What's going to come next? Oh, the crossover. Yawn was ready for it. Here we go. V-trigger comeback city. There's a crush counter. This is huge for Yawn. Ooh. Look at how many resources he has. He catches with the counter, hit the... Oh, man, the block. Beautiful.
Oh, man. If the Street Fighter V naysayers had their Twitter machines queued up on that one. If only he could chip kill him. If only the game was already over before the round was actually over and it was taken away. Sorry.
It's all right. It's
my
all right.
soapbox.
I know. Oh, nice.
Lovely, lovely footsies there from
Lud.
Lud.
Some Tekken footsies, a little bit of crush action. All right. Oh, look at that. ogyawn busting out of the clink just like that.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it any more clear. Pressing buttons to bust out, and now looking for the big buttons.
Yeah, elbows first. Okay, look at that. Lud maintaining his turn again, and I love that usage. The resource usage to keep your opponent in the corner.
Yeah, Lud is not backing down. Even with this much space, he's got ground buttons to match or beat or crush counter, and he has sent a huge message now. Yawn finally afraid, and he gets jailed in the corner and knife-handed down.
Yeah, Yawn really at a loss for options there to get out of the corner. Yeah, Lud just